in the building. We got Cam Duke.
It is your host, Les Thomas, and I'm with GuthrieAmerica podcast.
This is the We Love Athletes podcast.
I guess good looking, probably. That's probably it.
And most importantly, the hard work of our educators.
Thank you again for hitting that play button for another episode of the Hetty Coleman podcast. Go in. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for hitting that play button for another episode of the Hetty Coleman podcast, where I sit down with fabulous people to have go-in conversations. Go-in is being consistent and doing the right things that allow for you to achieve the wins that you have defined for your life so that you can live out your greatest story. I want two things to happen from these podcasts. I want you to learn, and I want you to be inspired. Today, ladies and gentlemen, today he needs no introduction, but he is the one and only. I call him the Hall of Famer, father of the century, husband to the amazing Hannah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the one and only Kevin Croft. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm good. I'm going to take you around everywhere. So you can introduce me every time we walk into a room.
Every time you walk in a room, every time you show up at work.
That's right.
Hey, Kevin, I'm so glad that you are here with me today. Now, I'm a pretty honest guy. I like to be transparent, and we've done this once before, Kevin.
We have. The tables are set up a little different, but the mics are on.
It threw you off. How are you with change? Is change hard for you, or it
depends on what causes the change. If it's something that I implement, then I'm a lot better with it than if somebody implements it upon me.
Because whenever you walked in the room, you saw that it's changed. I can see that you was a little taken back.
Yeah, I was picturing myself at a certain desk, and it's not here no more.
Walked in and saw a little difference, and he hesitated, ladies and gentlemen. He hesitated before he made a move, and I said, Kevin, it'll be all right, bro. It'll be all right. Man, I'm so glad. Anyway, I get to spend more time with you. So we recorded this once. I didn't hit I didn't unmute it, so his mic was muted. And so
which we'll find out if version 1 or version 2 comes out better.
Version 2 is going to be much better, because you've had one go at this.
That's right.
You already know what you're going to say, and then you already knew before you said it anyway. And so this actually just going to be that much better. Kevin, tell the world a little bit about yourself for those who are listening and don't know you. Just kind of tell a little bit about you and your business.
Yeah, so I'm a State Farm agent here in GuthrieAmerica. I've been doing it for 8 years now. Will be 8 years this July.
Get out of here.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm married to my wife, Hannah, for 15 years. It'll be 16 this year. April 28th. Got that date right. Thank you very much.
Killing it.
Yeah, I'm on fire. I didn't even have to look at my notes for that one. So, and then I have a son, Thomas, and a daughter, Claire, who I truly enjoy watching them two grow.
Yeah, you have some amazing kids. Your family's amazing. Really big fans of them. Your Thomas looks just like him.
Hopefully he'll grow out of it.
If there's such a thing of a better looking version, Thomas is definitely, not to say that Kevin, I mean, of course, if you're watching YouTube, you see that he's not a bad looking guy, but his son is handsome. Very beautiful family. Kevin, when did you know that you'd be working for yourself? Like, when did that realization was like, you know what?
Yeah, so before I was a State Farm agent, I was a partner of a CPA firm for several years, and watching other small business owners grow and chase their dreams and go after stuff they're passionate about. I always had a desire to do that. And then when the opportunity for State Farm to start my own agency out here in Oklahoma came about, truly was a leap of faith. But it was something that I always had in the back of my mind, watching other like-minded people do that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed what I did I was the tax partner. I enjoyed doing that, but I'm very glad that I took the leap of faith to do this agency deal. So I've enjoyed it. I've always liked work as a partner. You kind of get to make your own time, make your own hours, do that as well. So I kind of had my own practice, and I enjoy coaching others. And so my team at my CPA firm, I really enjoy doing that, and I enjoy even more doing this now. So just that leadership role I've always embraced and always enjoyed, and I'm right or wrong, I'm not scared of a challenge. So.
Yeah. Now that you've mentioned, like, I've heard you say that before, that you really enjoy coaching, like your team up and things like that. I know that you're a former athlete, Hall of Famer, played collegiate ball, all that stuff. Now, in that, I assume that you've always played sports, right? You were a soccer guy and all that stuff. And so, has your passion for coaching others come out of that, do you think, or is what drives that thing for you?
I think that is some. I've been blessed to have really good coaches my whole life. My dad was a coach of mine in sports, and then just a lot of the basketball, soccer sports I played, I had really good coaches, so I could see that, how much they enjoyed it and how much I learned from it and embraced it or whatever. Just growing up, my dad had always taught me to be a leader, embrace the leadership role, and if you have something that's worth being a leader, to share. And so I've always enjoyed that. I've always, like I said before, embrace it, and I like helping other people succeed.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think that's basically what you do as a parent too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're basically coaching your kids, and
Yeah,
I think the more that you learn and embrace it and realize, God's given you a responsibility for that, but He's also giving you the ability to lead or whatever, to embrace it and do your best.
yeah. No, I like that you point out your children, and then you're talking also about adults. And so sometimes Zell and my son were just recently talking about this. I was like, a lot of what happens when kids are old, it doesn't change much when you're an adult, right? You learn to make better decisions and all these things, but a lot of what helps you thrive as a kid is that you have a parent, like somebody who's kind of coaching you and all that. And at some point, as parents, we love for our kids to start getting to that place where they make the best choices for themselves, and we let them make choices and then kind of bring them back in if it's not the best choice.
Right.
And so then you carry that over into adulthood, and sometimes it's like, quit treating me like a child, where it's like, as a person of faith, God says for us to become like little children, but there's something that says when we get adults, don't treat me like a child. It's like, if you treat me like a child in the right way, it's probably good for me, because you're probably coming alongside. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just funny that Zell and I were just talking about that. I was like, Zell, never lose that childlike willingness to learn and position yourself to be alongside somebody that's going to coach you and help you. And so it's really cool to hear you say that. What's the hardest part about working for yourself? Like, what? And you can name a couple. I'm sure there's several, but what are some things that come to mind immediately that you would want somebody to know who may be considering this, moving into their next phase of life?
Yeah. So the biggest challenge I've ever encountered at the CPA firm here or whatever is finding team members that have the same passion and are as driven as much as you are, especially in a small business like I'm in. We have 5 to 6 team members. If not everybody's on the same page, moving to the same goal. I mean, you've always heard that you're only as strong as your weakest link. In a small atmosphere, it's really that's significant, because you don't have hundreds of people that can pick up your slack. So finding team members that are like-minded, that have the drive and the passion the same that I do, or business owners do, sometimes can be an issue.
Yeah.
In Guthrie, we don't have that big of a pool of employees to begin with to do that. And so in a small town, I think that's even a harder challenge. A lot of people don't want to come from bigger cities to work in a smaller town and make that commute. It's usually vice versa. So that's been the biggest struggle as a business owner here in Guthrie, is just finding that skill base of employees.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that as a challenge. One of the other roles that I get the opportunity to do is serve as a location pastor here in Guthrie. And so when you start talking about the pool of people that you can pay in this challenge, and like when you start thinking about, we primarily run off people who've said they're willing to volunteer. And so it becomes so now, and people be like, we want the greatest volunteers. I'm like, I'm really almost at a place where I'm just going to take what I get and just kind
have somebody alive show up.
Just breathe.
Open up a door.
Are you breathe? Like, oh, you got to come on in. Yeah, because again, the pool is, and I have friends who do the same type of work in the city, have entrepreneur friends, have small business, even in the city it's still challenging, and they have way more people to be able to pull from, right? And so, yeah, that's definitely a challenge, and that can be a heartache when you can't find those people, when you want it so bad for the people, and then also for yourself and the business and your customers. So, good. What is the part that you, and this probably goes back, when you think about the hardest, sometimes the hardest thing is also the thing you enjoy most. I don't want to answer for you, but what's the thing you enjoy most about being an entrepreneur and owner?
Well, in this role as a State Farm agent, I truly enjoy helping people realize and protect their dreams. And then that's, as my position, that's what I do. As a business owner with my employees, I truly enjoy watching them succeed. This sounds whatever, but I tell everybody the 20th of the month is my favorite day of the month because that's when I get to hand out commission checks to my team members. And so watching them succeed each month, handing that check or whatever is fun for me to do, because if they've bought in and are passionate about it, then they can succeed at a high level. And so I enjoy that. I mean, the truth is, what got me to State Farm is life insurance. I've always been extremely passionate about life insurance. State Farm has by far the best products, and we'll get into that later probably. But every day I wake up to help people protect themselves, and when I can do that, and when my team succeeds at that, that's truly a blessing. I mean, I think you can ask Hannah, my wife, when I get home. She can tell the difference if I wrote some life insurance or if I didn't, because I'm a little more excited, a little more pep in my step, knowing that I helped a family out for the unexpected. So.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I can see that. Like, was it on the first recording you were talking about somebody that you handed a check and they didn't know or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we've had several cases, but one recently we had a family that didn't even know that they had life insurance, or a family member passed away, didn't know that they had life insurance, and I was able to provide them with some money to help with funeral costs. They weren't prepared to have money set aside for whatever they didn't, the unexpected costs of funerals and funeral arrangements and stuff like that. So to hand somebody a check or let them know, hey, did you know you had life insurance, and they had no idea. Yeah, you talk about a blessing right there.
Yeah, no, that's super cool, and I know being a part of those moments is something that's really thrilling for you, just knowing who you are and how much you care for people. So now you do a bunch in the community, and so one of the things I was just thinking about this is part of the reason you and I are sitting down, because we have this ebook coming out, and one of the things that I know that you're passionate about is seeing people succeed, and this ebook is around people starting podcasts, and podcast is great for many reasons. A couple of reasons: networking, like you get to sit down with people that you may not be able to get to sit down with. We know social media to a lot of people is important because it helps them stay in front of people. You can use a podcast to be able to do that. So created this ebook. You've partnered with us to be able to give this ebook completely away for free. Nobody's got to leave an email or anything. All you will have to do is just download this ebook. But so I know you're a community guy. You're part of that. You've done things here in GuthrieAmerica locally, where help get playgrounds at some of our new schools. We get through that we've built because of school bond pass. You're a community guy. Why is that so important to you personally and as a business owner?
Giving back is a huge passion, not just financially, but time. We've talked about it. I've talked about it many times. God has blessed the Kraft family in several different ways, and so being a steward for Him is a passion of mine. Giving with money, time, whatever, but I think that's a responsibility just as a business owner, but as a Christian, as a person in the community or whatever, is helping others, and just making the community a better place, right? You talked about the playground. So a lot of people don't know that the school passed a bond or whatever to build that brand new school out at Charter Oaks, but in that it didn't have a playground.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you have a school without a playground, right? And so I was able to, with the help of Courtney and you and some other people in the community, we were able to get, State Farm does a $25,000 grant each year to certain communities, whatever. We were able to win that. And then that school got a playground. Now, how cool is that,
Yeah,
right?
that's really cool.
And so we didn't really do anything. It's not like I had to write a check for $25,000, but the community rallied around each other and said, hey, these kids need it. And luckily, I represent a company that is willing to stroke a $25,000 check for a playground, right?
Yeah.
And so we did that 2 years in a row, right? We had the other school that hadn't had new equipment in like 73 years or something like that.
Yeah, crazy.
And so the next year, so how cool is that to be a part of it, right? And so it's great that they got it. We all feel good as a community. It's really cool that we rally and, we present a check at halftime of a football game and the stand stands up or the crowd stands up and goes crazy. I mean, if that's not the essence of a community coming together, then I'm not sure what is. But, and it's for somebody else. I don't benefit from it. I'm not going down the slides, right? Yeah. Now, I would if they'd let me, but I'm pretty sure they chased me off in the middle of the day. I started swinging on the monkey bars or whatever. But stuff like that, I mean, I had the ability to do it, had the time and had the resource to do it. So why not?
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And I think sometimes people have the time and ability to do it, and they just don't seize it.
Yeah,
So.
And I think too, it's important to say it's not always about writing a check either, like what you just said, but it is about utilizing whatever resources you have to make a difference in your community, which you have been able to display that on several different occasions.
And we talk about, you said being a father to me is a huge role, but for my son to see that, or my daughter to see that I'm doing stuff like that, I want them to, be a part of the community as they see, or they're growing up or whatever, and see that it is a responsibility for everybody to plug in, right?
Yeah.
If you have the assets. And so.
Yeah. We use that the hashtag community wins because it's true. Like whenever we come together, lock arms, we're able to accomplish so much more.
Well, I mean, think about it. GuthrieAmerica has 11,000 people in it. And both years that we won that grant, we finished first and second in the entire nation on votes.
Yeah.
I mean, we went up against like Dallas and New York and California and all those places with huge cities. And our community came in first and second 2 years in a row on doing it. So, the community win hashtag is not just a hashtag, it's truth, right?
Yeah. No, so true. Now, my wife and I, we come sit down with you. And I can't remember if like you were kind of just saying, "Hey, just come sit down with me to talk about life insurance," or if we approach you or whatever. But we did, and in that I got to hear your passion for life insurance, and you communicated in a certain way, and it registered with me. And to be truth be told, I think I know we already had life insurance, right?
Right.
But I think we just had it. It wasn't something that I really comprehend until I was able to sit across the table from you with my family, and then I think on that day, I think now everybody has life insurance. I think everybody in my and so every month I got to check my account, make sure that money's going through, because we have the whole crew covered, which is great. And it wasn't until though that I sat down with you and was able to do that. So one of the things that I thought, man, I just want to sit down with Kevin, let you talk about just 5 things that you think are so important around life insurance so that we can get this message out. And throughout the year, we're just going to be sharing different clips of some of these points that Kevin is making to us so we can better understand it, because I believe in it, you believe in it. And I just want to get the word out about why it's so important. So if you would, just go down your list of 5 things real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about them more in depth if you would don't mind.
So there's probably a lot more than 5, but the big 5 that I think you and I have talked about, and I talk about with just about everybody, is, protecting from the unexpected with a peace of mind. Debt reduction is the second one. Financial planning, the third one. Legacy, leaving a legacy. And then just the flexibility of life insurance are the big 5.
What is the third one?
Third one is financial planning.
Yeah, financial planning.
Yep.
And then fourth again, tell me.
Legacy, leaving a legacy.
Yep. And then the fifth?
Is flexibility.
Flexibility, ladies and gentlemen. Flexibility. All right, Kevin, let's go down this list. Let's talk about the first one, which I really enjoy the sound of this. Peace of mind. There's nothing better than peace, brother.
Yeah, that's true. So protect it from the unexpected, give you a peace of mind. So it's a pretty straightforward thought process on this one. If nobody knows when they're going to go home to God, right? Nobody knows when God's going to call them home. And so having something in place for your family to help them not only through that financial burden of the funeral, but also the financial burden of losing income. So we live in a world today where majority of the households are dual income. So, and most people are living about 1 to 1.5 paycheck out. So if one of the household was to pass and lose that income, what's your plan? Well, unfortunately, what we see in the world today is that you have to do the knee-jerk reaction. I don't have a huge stockpile of money or savings or whatever. I don't have a plan to supplement the loss of 50 or 51% of my household income. So what do? I start selling stuff, right? I start downsizing. I start moving. We see all the time. One of the reasons why I got started is you see people that lose that income and now they have to move back in with their parents. And now you got grandparents and grandkids and everybody living in the same household, and you're selling homes, you're selling cars. All that stuff can be somewhat alleviated if you have some life insurance in place. Now, will you have enough for the rest of their lives? Maybe not, but you can have enough where you don't have that knee-jerk reaction, that you're not pulling kids out of school and moving, you're not selling cars, all that kind of good stuff. And so if you have that, it gives you a peace of mind where if I were to die, I know that my wife, Hannah, her plan won't have to be she has to move back to Louisiana, which nobody should have to move back to Louisiana, but she don't have to move back to Louisiana and live with her mom and take my kids there. Also, the other plan is that she doesn't have to go find another husband, right?
That's right.
Find that secondary
main thing.
Right. So, and we joke about it, but it's true. I've had this conversation with people before. Do you want the spouse to have to go find another income, right?
Yeah,
a second job or a second marriage or whatever? Because then, how does that affect your kids? Seeing less of of their mom or their dad or whatever. So, there's some joking to it, but there's a lot of serious to it. That if you don't have that peace of mind set in place, what's the plan?
Yeah.
And so we've talked about it before. The number one, if you Google it, the number one GoFundMe page is for people that have died and they can't afford the funeral. They can't afford their lifestyle. They can't afford stuff. So people are out there asking people for money to help fund stuff because they weren't prepared for the unexpected. They didn't have that peace of mind. And I tell people all the time, if one trip to McDonald's for the family, if you cut that out, you can afford life insurance. We can find you a policy that's going to give you something. It may not give you all, but it is going to give you that peace of mind where you don't have that knee-jerk reaction and have to start selling stuff or GoFundMe. And so that to me is the biggest thing about life insurance, because life insurance is a lot more affordable than people think.
Yeah.
And it can give you that just sense of relief that, if something crazy happens to me today, my kids and my wife are going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
For however long, but they're going to be taken care of for a while, right?
And in that price that you're talking about, it's like, hey, you definitely can find something in the price range. So what are we thinking?
Yeah.
20 to $50?
Yeah, so it all depends on age. Male and females are rated different. Males are a little
Gotcha.
bit more expensive than females because men are dumber than women, so they aren't going to live as long, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, you can get, depending on age, there's policies. I mean, we write policies all the time for $17
Yeah.
for $100,000.
Yeah.
Right, death benefits. And so, that kind of goes down to the flexibility that we'll talk about in a little bit. But there's literally a product for everybody's budget
Yeah.
and for their needs. It's just a matter of sitting down with somebody and having that conversation like you and I had several years ago.
No, that's good. That's good. Now, the second one is
Debt reduction.
debt reduction. Talk to us about debt reduction.
Yeah, so it's not a secret. I read this stat the other day in Forbes. The average household has anywhere between $11,000 and $17,000 in credit card debt. And so we kind of go back to the unexpected or whatever. If you lose an income stream, how do you take care of that debt? Well, now you don't have the other income stream to help pay down that debt. So a death benefit, if you were to pass, can help reduce some of the debt that you have. House notes, car notes, college scholarships that you're paying off. You don't pay off scholarships, but college debt, college loans. And then credit card debts, all that kind of good stuff. The death benefit can be used to pay that off. You talk about a burden relief. That's a huge way of taking advantage of the death benefit is to pay off stuff. Go back to the knee-jerk reaction. If I were to pass away and I leave Hannah XYZ, well, she can pay off the cars or she can pay off the house. And she may not have to pay it off completely, but at least buys her time to make an informed decision down the road.
Yeah.
I don't have to start selling everything because Kevin's death benefit has bought me a year just to, hopefully if I ever pass, she can't, function without me. I don't know, Joe. She'll probably be in, she'll
thrive.
She'll probably be in Disney World before the funeral's over. But on a serious note, she will have the time to make those decisions, right? And so we do have debt, right? We have a house note, we have car notes, we have everything that every household has. But if I were to pass or she were to pass, I have time to pay those things down or pay them off without having to make that knee-jerk reaction that we keep talking about. And so,
which is so important. Because that also goes back to that peace of mind, and some of that is to be able to do those things and not have to rush into whatever the next thing. You can take a few months or a year, a couple of years, and just take it all in, get yourself together, gather yourself, be there for the kids, not have to be already back to work, things that you already have mentioned. And so,
because the debt doesn't go away just because you die. Somebody has to take it, right? And if you still live in the house, you still got to pay that note. If you still drive that car, you got to pay that note. College notes go with you. College loans go with you. It doesn't matter. Credit card, goes with you. So you can't hide from the debt unless you start selling everything. And then I'm not sure that's what the best course of action for people is.
That's good. It's good. Number 3, financial planning.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorites. This is actually how I got into life insurance a long time ago. There's a product called Equity Index Annuity. A good friend of mine, Nick McLeod, got me into this years ago. When the market crashed and all that other bad stuff happened years ago, I went on a pilgrimage trying to find products that you can put your money into that has no risk, right? And so I came across life insurance products. We've talked about it before. There's a million different products out there in life insurance. And so this one really hit home with me because I saw how people were losing their retirements. People don't know this, but if you put money in a 503B plan, which is college education for kids, you can actually lose money in that. It's not guaranteed money, right? And so anyway, I went on a pilgrimage to try to find stuff. Life insurance was the one that had a guaranteed return. As I dove into more life insurance products, there's other vehicles that you can use it for. You can actually take loans out on your life insurance. You build cash value. You can supplement your retirement. You can work it like a Roth IRA. And so people that are looking for other avenues to invest their money, there's a guaranteed return on life insurance products on the cash value. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that life insurance is only used if you're dead. Well, there's a ton of products out there that you can actually utilize while you're alive and have no risk of the market. And so when we talk about financial planning, you can use that guaranteed return to supplement your retirement. There's a product that I have on both of my kids that they're guaranteed life insurance for forever. After 10 years, I pay on their life insurance. They're guaranteed life insurance forever, and it builds cash value for their entire life. And so when they get to get to college or get married or whatever, there's a bucket full of money that's been sitting in there that's just growing, tax-free, which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
That they can use to take money out for the down payment of their first car. Or if Thomas finds some girl crazy enough to marry him, he can take it out for a ring, right? Or Claire needs a down payment on a house note or whatever. The money's sitting there, or books for college or whatever. And so you can do a whole bunch of financial planning through life insurance products and have the kicker of a death benefit.
Yeah.
So you kill, probably a bad term, killing two birds with one stone. Killing two, yeah, I said that right.
Yeah, that's right.
But you could do that, and a lot of people don't understand that. And so, that's actually the products that we got for your kids, where there's guaranteed insurability, so they can raise their insurance without ever having to go through underwriting again. So
once they get to a certain age,
right?
They
so
can,
how cool is that?
Yeah.
So like if Thomas, heaven forbid, he gets some kind of heart disease or something like that, and can't get insurance, he's already in a product that we can't turn him down if he wants more. Well, how awesome is that? Because he's not going to, he's going to live a long life. He just may have some health issues that can't get more life insurance, but he gets married, has kids, so his death benefit needs go up, and now he can get it because he has the guaranteed option. So financial planning and life insurance is huge. To be honest with you, this is why I wake up every morning, right, is to talk to people about life insurance, but also talk about the cool side of the financial planning.
Yeah.
A lot of people think term and invest the rest, which is fine, other than when you invest the rest in the market, you have the chance or the risk of losing it. You invested in insurance products, you guaranteed a return.
Yeah.
And so there's just a huge benefit to those products that a lot of people don't know.
Do most people, I shouldn't say most people, but do you have people who just kind of diversify? They kind of play in a little bit of different
that's
products?
a great that's a great point. So I do that. So I do have, a 401k, IRA, all that good stuff, whatever that is, invested in the market, but I hedge it with the investments in guaranteed products through life insurance.
Yeah.
So I know that at the end of the day, if the market goes poop, which we've all seen that it does every 7 years, right? And so in that 7th year, if that's the year that I want to retire, or if that's the year that I want to go buy something, and my IRA is down to nothing, I still have that nest, right? That I can use that cash in for a wedding for Claire. No. I don't like thinking about. No. She's going to become a nun.
Not do that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Very good. So the next one, I like this word, legacy.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So this is kind of more of a plus one, right? You got the death benefit that pays off stuff, financial planning or whatever. The legacy is a plus one to me. So if you have the resources to add more cash to your policies, you can have a bigger death benefit that exceeds your current needs, right? And so we talk about it all the time. You can leave money to your church. You can leave money to your school. You can put your name on a stadium. You can do all that fun stuff with the legacy. The other thing is that you can leave money to your kids, right? And so if your death benefit that you have pays off everything that you need, gets your wife or your loved ones through whatever they're necessary, now you can set your kids up for success later in life, right? And so they have a nest egg that they can utilize. We talked about this on the first podcast when the mic wasn't on. But my wife, when I became a State Farm agent, her grandfather had bought her a life policy when she was born. She had no idea, right? And so when I became a State Farm agent and we put our Social Security numbers into our accounts or whatever, everything gets tied together, and this life insurance popped up with Hannah's name on it.
That's crazy.
And I was sitting there, I was like, what in the world? And I looked at the date on it. Hannah was born in, I won't say it, her year because she's turning 40 this year. So we'll just say a different time. But anyway, they had her, the inception date was in 83. And I was like, what in the world? And so I called her and I said, hey, do you know you have life insurance? And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So she called her mom. Her mom said, oh yeah, your grandfather bought life insurance on all the grandkids. Well, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
30 years down the road,
Yeah.
you find out that you have this. Now, it's not life-changing money, but it is money,
Yeah.
right? And that she can utilize. It has the cash value. So she can take it out if she wants to. It's a paid-up policy, right?
That's
so
cool.
how cool is that she has money from a grandfather that she barely knew,
Yeah.
and now he's left a legacy to her,
That's cool.
right? And so,
Yeah.
and so we see that all the time around Christmas time. You know, grandparents, instead of, buying a tricycle, whatever, will go out and buy. They used to buy bonds, right? Everybody used to buy bonds
Yeah.
for the kids or
Yeah.
whatever. Now they'll go out and buy life insurance, paid up life insurance, that if something were to happen to them or whatever, they got this pocket full of money that they didn't know they had,
Yeah.
right? So that's a great way of leaving a legacy without.
Now, when you say paid up, is it a one-time fee, or are you
Yeah.
saying like, okay,
Yeah, so there's, like I said, there's a million different policies out there.
wow, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, so it's a single premium. So you pay it one time. Now, the death benefit is not huge, but think about it. That money's been sitting in there growing in a cash value for 30 years.
Got
And
you.
he
So you
wrote
pay
you-
one time, you get so many dollars, but then it starts
The cash
accruing. Yeah.
accumulates, yep.
Yep.
And so just sitting there, the cash just every year, bam, bam, bam. And so now she's got, like I said, it's not life-changing money, but it is a pocket full of money
Yeah.
that she's sitting there. She can
Yeah.
go buy something with, whatever,
Yeah.
or down payment on something. But
Yeah.
for 30 years, it's just been growing.
Yeah.
How awesome is that?
Yeah. No, that's
Right?
really cool.
And so a lot of grandparents do that. My dad has done that for my kids or whatever. It's just a really neat way of leaving something that they'll have for forever. And it's not a bicycle that they're going to be done with, in 2 years, or, some crayons or something. They go buy some life insurance.
Now, let me ask you this, because you're talking about the legacy, talking about accidentally bumping into this policy. What can people do to find out if, like, for example, I'll hold my hand up. I got a thing in the mail the other day at my mother-in-law's house, and it's saying it's telling me that I got this life insurance. I'm like, I don't even remember this life, because one of the things about agents, sometimes when your buddies become agents, you're the first person, and of course you're trying to support your buddies. And I think I have this policy out there that I forgot about, or wasn't aware of, whatever. Is there a way that people can say they got this unction or whatever? I feel like my grandparents or my parents did something for me like that they can find out. Do they have to call every different types of? Because you got to stay.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know that answer.
Okay,
to be honest with
got you.
I know that there's something, I've seen a commercial for it, where you can go to some Oklahoma website and see if there's a pot full of money sitting from somebody that passed away that didn't have money earmarked for a family member or whatever. It's just sitting out there.
Yeah.
And the closest relative gets it or whatever. But I don't know how you can find out if somebody has life insurance on you or not.
Because like Hannah would have never known.
We don't never know.
If you just wouldn't have to, and how crazy is that? That you go work for the agency that this is in, and then you put this. So yeah. So I was just curious that.
Yeah.
I don't even.
I don't
how
know.
you
Wait,
do it.
that's a great question.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can just Google it.
Yeah. Is that a business idea?
I don't know. Podcast number 3.
Podcast number 3: finding people's life insurance.
Call in.
Call in. A call-in show around life insurance. That's really good, though. Just thinking about my children, thinking about them one day having grandchildren, and how cool that would be to know that that's available to me to be able to do something like that.
Right.
That down the road, man, if it's a couple of thousand, 3,000 or 4,000, depending on where you're at in life, that's life changing, right? Or that's something that could be a blessing at the right time. And so, to know that we can have something like that is really cool. Yep. Number 5, flexibility.
Yeah. So we've kind of alluded to it throughout the first 4, but there's so many different products out there that you can utilize. And so when we talk about flexibility, there's two parts to it, really. The first part is just all the different products that you can use that benefit you personally. So, if you have budget restrictions, or if you need a bigger death benefit, or if you don't have budget restrictions and you want to put more money in to the cash value of a life insurance policy that's going to sit there and grow and supplement your retirement and all that good stuff. There's all those different ways of doing it. I tell people all the time, there's a million different ways to invest your money. There's a million different people, however you can put your head to bed at night and rest comfortably, right? And so with life insurance, you have the term policies, which is a small premium for a large death benefit. You have the permanent products that build cash value, but doesn't have that big of a death benefit, or depending on how much you put in, this apples to oranges when you're talking about term policies. And then you have return of premium policies, where for every dollar that you put in, when the policy ends, you get every dollar back. A lot of people don't know that policy. That's a really cool return of premium. So there's just a whole bunch of flexibility into how you can utilize life insurance and meet your needs and meet your family needs, and to have that peace of mind every day, right? There's ways that you can utilize a permanent policy and attach a term policy to it. I mean, like I said, there's a crazy different amount of ways that you can utilize it. There's a policy out there that you pay one time and you're guaranteed money for the rest of your life. It's called an annuity. And so you get a check every month for the rest of your life for putting X amount of dollars in there, right? How cool is that, right? You're guaranteed. And then the other thing about flexibility is there's what they call the universal life policy. Within that policy, there's a whole bunch of different ways to be flexible within that. You can increase your cash faster. You can increase your death benefit faster. You can change how much you pay from year to year. There's a whole bunch of different flexibility in that one policy as well. It's one of my favorite policies out there, just because depending on what your needs are that year, you can adjust that product to meet that need, which is a really cool thing that's just really hard to do when you're doing investments, right? You can't always make that adjustment without having some kind of tax implication. And so that's, when it comes to flexibility, that's the main thing. It's just people don't know. A lot of people don't know all the different products that are out there. A lot of people just think term policy and that's it. And there's so much more.
Yeah. It's crazy. So talking about the flexibility within all these different products, on your website, or is it best just to come talk to you, or could you start on your website? What is the best way for people who are listening, like, man, I want more, I need to know more information about this? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the website is good. You can go to statefarm.com and you can there's a life tab, and it'll have every product that we have. A lot of times people get on there and get lost and get frustrated because some of the terminology on there, if you're not savvy with the life insurance, it can kind of get overwhelming. So my encouragement is everybody to go find an agent, right?
Yeah.
Go find. I would love to help everybody that listens to this podcast, right? And so get some kind of understanding. But the truth is that sitting down with somebody that's life specialized in this, whatever, is probably the easiest way of doing it. I don't go and try to research how to fix my car. I go to a mechanic and I say, hey, fix my car, right? Help me fix my car. And so that's kind of my mindset when it's life insurance, right? If you want to do that research, great, do it, have some kind of knowledge base. But at the end of the day, before you pull the trigger, my encouragement would be to sit down with somebody and kind of go over, what your goals are, and see if we can't find the product that meet that goal.
So good, so good. Kevin, I appreciate you. Your information is going to be, if you're listening to this and you're an entrepreneur, small business, been thinking about starting a podcast, or you say, man, I got some real social media challenges, hard for me to be consistent, I encourage you to download the ebook. You can find it in the show notes. Again, no cost. You don't have to give me your email address or nothing like that. Thanks to Kevin. We just want to make sure that people are getting this information, because I believe that can be a game changer for you. And then we also know that life insurance can be a game. So I just think this is a great partnership to be able to come alongside people and really help people. Kevin, what is your contact info, website, all that? It'll be in the show notes, but go ahead and tell us anyway.
Yeah, so the phone number is 405 293-9400. The website is craftyourinsurance.com. So craft is with a C. And so it's craftyourinsurance.com. And then all my stuff is on there as well. So I'm right here in the heart of Guthrie, America.
Yeah, so we have people who listen in the United States and then people outside of the country. Just to be clear, just so you can inform people the best way, I live in Texas. I'm listening to this. Man, Kevin, thanks, because this ebook can benefit me regardless of where I'm at. I would love to be able to support you or do business with you. Is that possible?
Yeah, so with life insurance, I'm licensed in a lot of states in the United States. So I think there's about 11 states that I'm licensed in.
Okay.
And so I can write life insurance just about anywhere. And if not, I can always get you at least enough knowledge that you could go find somebody and get some policies written. But I would be more than happy to take care of anybody, no matter where they're at, even if it's just sitting down and educating them on it, and then they go find somewhere to write it. I'd be more than happy to do that. That's what I'm very passionate about.
Gotcha. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, thank y'all for listening to another episode of the Hetty Coleman Podcast. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, as always, go win.